Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club, and today we are going to turn back to What Makes Love Last. I know I took a little bit of a deviation covering the stress-reducing conversation that John Gottman has in his book, The 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work, but today we're just going to go back to the book we've been covering. If you haven't had a chance, please check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can take our life balance questionnaire and send it to us for a free consult. You can also just reach out and request your free consult. So look forward to talking with you. Okay, chapter 8 of John Gottman's book talks about turning toward each other. So if y'all haven't gone to his website, please do so. Just Google the Gottman Institute. They have a ton of free materials there. You can sign up for the newsletter where they'll send you twice a week just some quick tips on how to keep your relationship in tune. And then also at the very bottom of that newsletter, they have the podcast where you can go learn. It's called Small Things Often, and you can learn about their best tips and tricks all within less than 5 minutes. So hopefully these videos are helping you, but there's no replacement for the actual Gottman Institute, which is where I'm getting my information from. And again, I don't get paid for this. I hope one day Dr. Gottman contacts me, but until then, I'm super happy to just go through the materials with you all and talk about it. And my motto is if I help one person, then I've done a good job and I feel happy about myself. So that's why I'm here. Okay, chapter 8, turning toward each other. Reporters so often ask me, what do couples fight about most? My answer is always the same. Absolutely nothing. They fight about nothing. A mess just happens and a regrettable incident is born. A couple watches TV. As she tries to follow the program, he grabs the remote and starts scrolling through the listings guide. Stop doing that. I can't see, she says. Okay, just let me check. No, leave it. I hate it when you do this. Fine. Why did you say it like that? Because you're always going to get your way, so fine, have it your way. No matter how dedicated you are to living happily ever after, small squabbles like this one over that remote are always going to push your buttons. Real life will never be like the pages of a fairy tale or a marriage manual. That's why it's so important to tamp down tension whenever you can by getting into the habit of turning toward each other during sliding door moments. This is an easy skill to master, and there is no exaggerating its benefit. In a telling result from my newlywed study, couples who remained married at the 6-year follow-up had turned toward each other 86% of the time during their stay at the Love Lab apartment. These couples also expressed humor and affection and even laughed during their monitored conflict discussion. None of the other couples did. Those who ended up splitting had interacted in this manner only 33% of the time. These statistics offer fantastic news and a great opportunity. They suggest that you can avoid a lot of misery just by working on responding with interest during trivial incidents. Since these episodes are insignificant and fleeting, repairing them is easy. It's best if you learn how to accomplish this together. But even if it's just one of you that begins to slide the door open with greater frequency, your relationship will still improve. In time, your partner is more likely to walk through that door too. There is one category of turning away, however, that can demolish a relationship after just one episode and require serious intervention. In such cases, a devastating interaction causes what my colleague, Dr. Susan Johnson, calls an attachment injury, a wounding experience that leaves one partner feeling vulnerable and unsafe. An attachment injury destroys the implicit contract between partners to be there and nurture each other, to impart the feeling of security that attachment figures, usually parents, often provided during childhood. Johnson treated a grieving woman who suffered an attachment injury when her husband had refused to lament and comfort her after a miscarriage. He didn't find such conversations positive and constructive, So he turned away and left her to recover from the tragedy alone. When the person you have entrusted with your deepest vulnerabilities is unavailable or unresponsive to a deep-seated need, the result is anger, panic, and intense loneliness. The hurt remains a part of your active memory. To quote William Faulkner, the past is never dead. It's not even past. Without proper intervention, a relationship that suffers this type of damage is likely to shatter. In most cases, however, it takes an accumulation of turning away and subsequent regrettable incidents before the relationship becomes mired in negativity. So couples have plenty of time to get it right. It's common for a partner to turn away because he or she doesn't realize that the other has made a bid for support and attention. Sometimes the bid is so minor. Could you see who's at the door? Remind me, what time do we have to go? That it seems immaterial, but it is still important. When little bids go ignored or dismissed, the couple don't move up what I call the bidding ladder to more important requests for connection and emotional support. Couples who eat in awkward silence at restaurants are stuck on a very low step of the bidding ladder. So, easier said than done, right? Turning toward each other when you get upset. We'll cover more in the chapter. So the next video we'll talk about specific types of bids. The third video we'll talk about how to repair, and then there's two different types. So we'll go into each of the two different types. Bottom line is, a relationship takes work. It takes work, and it takes work on both parties. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who have said, the first question I'll ask is, have you tried couples counseling? And typically they'll say, I want to, but my partner doesn't. And at that point, and I've told various friends in the past as well, if any one of the partners is saying, we need counseling, you need counseling. Both of you need to go to counseling together. So that's one thing. Oftentimes you'll have, one partner who's interested in counseling, the other one who's not. Bottom line, friends, is you cannot fix a relationship by yourself. It takes two. It takes two to be successful, and you can ruin it by yourself. You can ruin it by yourself, but you can't fix it by yourself, definitely. So that's the first thing, but the relationship takes both of you. And what Gottman is trying to teach us is to notice the small things. He says, basically in his love lab, nobody would win an Oscar, right? There's no, the most successful relationships, and actually he talks about couples as they get older, they have more neutral moments. So we talked about the 3 boxes, right? Nasty, nice, and neutral. They can say things to each other and remain neutral. And so that flat roller coaster, instead of having the highs and the lows, is actually a sign of a successful relationship, where you can talk about what you need to talk about without either of you getting overly emotional or excited or sad or angry or anything like that. You can just discuss stuff and talk about it. And at one point, after we cover Gibson's second book, which I know people are waiting for, we'll go into the 7 principles of making marriage work. And one of the things that Gottman talks about a lot there is exploring each other's dreams, fulfilling a love map, getting to know each other. It takes work. A relationship takes work. It's like a garden, right? You can't stop. The second you stop, you're going to have weeds coming in. Your crop is not going to bloom. And I'm obviously not a gardener, so my analogy may be a little off, but I do know about weeds, and I know that they'll come up real quick. But it takes a lot of work, and you have to work on it together. And so the next video will cover bids, what a bid is, how to spot it, and ultimately it comes down to, it's a very easy formula, and it's very easy for me to tell you here in like a calm setting. But when you start practicing it, you practice it with each other and you internalize it, and then you apply it within a fight, you'll see immediately that it does bring results. So very excited to bring that to you, and look forward to talking with you guys in the next video.